American citizens now own more than 40% of all the guns in the world, more than the next 25 gun ownership countries combined. Eat Arby's.
Hey kids, strap yourself in for some action-packed racing. It's Big Rigs. 18 wheels of thunder, and we got trucks. Yeah, trucks. Big Rigs. Off-road traction, more power for non-stop driving action. Big Rigs. Over-the-road racing, above the road, under the road, who knows? Big Rigs. Never lose a race again. You're always winner with Big Rigs. Engines equipped with quantum phasing molecular mechanics to pass through solid objects so as not to interrupt the racing experience. Nothing stands in your way when you're Big Rigs. Rear spinning tires with warp drive velocity for interdimensional exploring. Leave the game behind and exceed the boundaries of existence. Big motherfucking rigs. Driving around in fucking trucks. Big motherfucking rigs. Big rigs.
Coming up next, the voice of Bob takes a look at video game history. In the late 1970s and early 1980s, Atari was as big as Apple, if not bigger. Here's both a look back and a look forward at Atari.
Discover Atari and travel to new frontiers of knowledge, excitement, and challenge. Discover Atari home computers. Learn with computers truly designed for the home. Sophisticated, yet simple enough for your child to use. Play incredible games like Star Raiders. Master your finances. Feel the excitement only Atari can bring you with the world's most popular home video games like Super Breakout and the colossal hit Pac-Man. Experience coin video games like Tempest that immerse you in the thrill of intergalactic action. Enter the computer age at the speed of light. Discover Atari. Atari! And discover how far you can go.
Those crazy nights I do remember in my youth. I do recall those were the best times, most of all. In my head, where my Virgin girl, burning love, the once in a lifetime. She found the same by the train, took me home, we danced by the moonlight.
Atari, a name known the world over, a name synonymous with the electronic game industry, a name that to millions means fun. With the introduction of Pong in 1972, Atari created the video game industry. Since then, Atari has led the way with many classic arcade hits. In creativity, in engineering, in management, Atari is the industry standard for coin video games. And in 1976, Atari brought the video game home with the Atari Video Computer System. Also that year, Atari became part of Warner Communications. Since then, the company has grown at a staggering rate, adding home computers in 1979 and Atari Tel in 1983. By constantly looking forward to new trends in entertainment and education, Atari has maintained the leadership position since that very first Pong game. Now, Atari is about to add another chapter to this success story with its newest venture, Atari Adventure. It's a dynamic new concept. Ever evolving, Atari Adventure will be the premier showcase for the newest innovations in computer learning and video excitement. One feature, Adventure Time Theater, will be an interactive video cinema. Also, there will be a unique collection of next-generation video game machines. But what will make Atari Adventure really special is that magic word in its name, Atari. The Atari name on the door places its reputation behind it. Atari's experience in both entertainment and computer learning is being utilized extensively by a dedicated corporate design team committed to creating a new standard of environmental quality for the Atari Adventure. With characteristic Atari care, no design or engineering detail is being overlooked. And since Atari is owned by Warner Communications, it is a company that is here today and here tomorrow. Atari is dedicated to exploring the human frontiers of high technology, and Atari Adventure will introduce those ideas to millions of eager fans for years to come. With Warner Communications behind it, Atari has the clout to make futuristic ideas today's reality. Atari is looking toward that future with you in mind. Join in the newest venture, Atari Adventure. Reach out with us and touch tomorrow.
A fly. I'll have a mutant fly. Hello, Yar. You'll need some protection. Ion zone. Shift chroma. Intensify. Okay, now you'll need some weapons. You have a formidable enemy. The Cotile. Watch it, Yar. He has a lethal drone. And some other tricks up his sleeve. Spiral. Go. Good move, Yar. Now I have a surprise for you. A Zorlon cannon. Use it, Yar. Fire again. Got him. That's revenge. Yar's revenge. A video game. Yeah, this can be fun. This can be a lot of fun. Like asteroids. Get him. Do it. Beautiful. Watch it. Disintegrate. Phew. Now let's go into deeper space. Galactic map. Sector 11. Hyperspace. Sights in. Cylon warships, attack. Steady, stand by, photons. Star Raiders. That's it, Star Raiders. That'll keep them on their toes. Let's see what we can come up with next.
We're Atari. We have the vision, and we invented the technology to bring the excitement home to you.
The problem with being good at poker is that no matter how good you are, There's somebody out there that's better.
Nolan kept telling me, oh, we're going to be $1 million company. I thought he was crazy. It only said the word Pong on it. There were no instructions. There was a coin box, a television set, the name Pong, and 2 controls.
I did not think it was marketable.
Save the bullshit for the girls.
Turns out it was so stuffed full of quarters, no one could get any more money in.
I said, gee, if that ever happens, again, you give me a call, I can fix that.
A lot of these games were going into bars where people had 6 beers.
It was kind of run by mob types, or claimed to be. And I told Nolan, the guy pulled a gun on me. Oh, he wasn't going to shoot you. I'm not going to those things anymore.
Although being successful as a new company, Atari was always chasing money.
When you're growing at double and sometimes triple-digit rates, you need a lot of cash. The VCS, no matter which way I ran the numbers, required more capital than we had.
I got a call one day. I can remember the question, would you have any interest in a fast-growing, technologically based entertainment company? And I said yes, not knowing what I was answering yes to.
You had these buttoned-down East Coast executives, and they're dealing with Nolan Bushnell, who sees himself as one of the world's great ladies' men.
You had too many young people who were going to get too rich too fast.
Now all of a sudden he's sold his business for $28 million. He's playing tennis in the morning instead of coming directly to work.
Manny Gerard wanted budget planning, marketing campaigns, and sales goals.
You've got to bring somebody in here with business discipline because this thing is growing, it's growing too fast, and it's going to go out of control.
I said, look, I'll go out there for a weekend and check the place, but that's all I will do.
It was pretty obvious to us that he was there to replace Nolan.
I had decided to be such a pain in the ass that they would fire me.
Getting fired was the easiest task for Nolan in years.
I couldn't function with this environment unless I was running the show. I'm sure he was asked to leave. He resigned.
We went from, a small engineering-driven company to a very large marketing-driven company.
They were doubling their sales volume every year. They went from 30 million to 60 million to 120 million to $250 million to $500 million to $1 billion to $2 billion in consecutive years.
I think it went to everybody's head. And I think that led to some mistakes.
When Atari released 10 million Pac-Man cartridges, that was the beginning of the end of Atari.
I was better than all of my fraternity brothers, but I was not better than this one guy that came down and picked me cleaner than a Christmas goose. I think that an outside observer would definitely conclude that Warner Communications screwed up Atari massively. They put in money at the right time, but there was no innovation after that. They just shut innovation down because they didn't understand it. They didn't understand the technology. They thought of Atari as a record company. They saw it as, the software was the whole thing. They didn't care about the hardware. In fact, sometimes they'd say, well, is there a way we can offload this hardware thing? It's all about, and I said, not only that, this player is obsolete the day we shipped it, and we have to replace it within 3 years. And they wouldn't do it. And the real crash in '83 happened because the 2600 was over. The 2600 was obsolete. And they tried to push 15 million into the market in a market that was already full. And whereas if they'd had the VCS2 or some other thing, it would have kept the market alive because the early adopters of the VCS would have bought the early units here, no matter what. And it's the model that we see today.
Atari On.
More than 40 years ago, Atari opened a portal into our living rooms with the Atari 2600. Now, we're ready to reopen that portal and introduce a brand new Atari product. Inspired by the past, but created, designed, and engineered for today. Introducing the Atari VCS.
The 2600 was just this meteor from another planet. It crashed here and kicked off the evolution of all gaming life as we know it.
Not only was this sort of a video game console, but it was turning television into a more social activity.
It was like we were transported into the future. Something magical happening on the TV for the first time.
It is pretty exciting to see Atari kind of come back and take what they did well and reimagine that for this new generation that are playing games differently, consuming media differently, having different social experiences around this type of media.
Taking everything we loved about that first sort of simple retro Atari experience, the first time we used it, and bringing it into a modern context, which is a bit more complex.
One of the unique things about the Atari VCS is its PC architecture and Linux operating system. You can play hundreds of classic Atari games on it, but there's more to it than that. Modern games will be there too, along with social media, streaming video, music, and so much more.
Hey Atari, let's play Tempest 4000.
Our mission was to create an iconic and authentic Atari product, one that's beautiful and evokes emotion, not just another box to shove under your TV.
The 2600 offers this amazing palette of iconic details. You got toggle switches and wood grain and fins and angles. We looked at taking each of those core components and evolving it for a next generation. It was something that feels like it felt and not trying to look how it looked then. So with the 2600, it was a box with ribbing on a surface, and we were looking at that detail and started talking about, well, what if the box was entirely ribs? It's not a box with applied ribs, it's actually constructed from individual fins and layers. We found a way to inlay a real natural wood product, and it's a beautiful finish, but it also becomes a really interactive part of the product. The interface shines through that material.
We feel strongly that a product like this deserves a little more thought, a little more effort, and a little more heart by solving for design intent, manufacturability, thermals, design for assembly, all at the same time.
One of the things that was exciting me the most about it was the controller, and to see sort of a reimagined yet more versatile version of the same thing that I grew up with in my hand was instantly the one thing that I was super happy with.
We wanted to do something really special for our biggest Atari fans. We've created a special launch edition of the VCS, only available on Indiegogo.
Atari is kind of transcended beyond even those who had a chance to play it. Everything that I've personally done in gaming past that point all trails back to those original roots. It's a refreshing breath of air to have the Atari brand come back to gaming.
Taught me, well, you showed me ancient wisdom of your own. Spread your wings.